So I went down a rabbit hole, as I'm prone to do, and I discovered some things that were surprising. Mostly because they didn't surprise me at all. Communication. I think that good communication is one of the most undervalued and overassumed skills. Communication is considered a soft skill because it is not something that can easily be tested for, and it's not easy to determine if someone is good at communication. Good communication can bridge gaps, inspire excellence, and heal the broken. On the other hand, bad communication can destroy what was built, tear down the will to excel, and cause trauma that can be carried or even passed on for lifetimes. An estimated 65% of relationships fail due to communication problems. About 60% of employees have considered leaving their job because of poor communication. A whopping 97% of police work is communication based, and any breakdown can lead to safety concerns. 1 in 5 business leaders reports losing an estimated $10 to almost $50,000 in deals or clients per instance of bad communication. Ineffective communication costs the U.S. alone between $1 and $2 trillion annually. Poor family communication puts kids at increased risk of suicide and can also affect their academic success. All of these things show that not only does communication play a vital role in every area of our lives, but also that collectively our society is failing at it. I've been blessed to learn communication skills in a wide variety of situations. Not all, or even many of those lessons were pretty, but I was able to take those experiences and learn how to do better. So I would like to share the tips and tricks that I've learned the hard way and hopefully help smooth your journey. My first tip is know your audience. One of the greatest takeaways that I got from working in law enforcement is that you can't talk to a soccer mom like you would a prison inmate. Now, if there's a soccer mom in prison, there has already been a massive communication breakdown because someone didn't believe her when she said, for the 100th time, get your shit off my kitchen table. But the point is if you want to get your message across, it needs to be given at the same level the receiver is at. Here's an example. I used to be a jail guard at a small county jail. Often there were only 2 people covering a shift, and that meant one person was in the control room to open doors, answer the phones, etc., and the other person was working the floor, which meant booking in arrests and taking care of any other tasks for inmates. One weekend, while working with my partner, it was my turn to be on the floor, and a gentleman was brought in for driving without a license, and he was being fairly belligerent with the arresting officer. I needed to separate myself from the arresting officer and establish a different kind of relationship so I could get my job done. Now, it turns out that this man was schizophrenic and not on his medication. And he kept telling me that he worked for the CIA and that he needed to call the office and check in with his handler. I could have argued with him. I knew he didn't work for the CIA, but that message would not have been received and I would not have gotten my job done, which was to get him booked in. So I adapted. I told him it was the weekend and that the office wasn't going to be open. I told him that I could get his information updated in our system and that he could make a call on Monday to speak with his supervisor. And that was it. He was totally compliant and it was a breeze to get him booked in. And he also gave me a promotion and started calling me special agent. Unfortunately, my sergeant said that particular promotion did not come with a raise. So this is an extreme example, and I'm not advocating lying to people. What I want to illustrate, though, is that I was able to see what level he was on and adapt my approach so I could get my job done without a fight, without injury to me or him, and without damaging my future interactions with him. That same man was arrested again around 6 months later. The arresting officer called me from his car directly and told me that I was going to need backup and I was going to need a restraint chair because the guy was trying to tear his car apart and cussing up a storm. I asked who it was, who he had arrested, and I immediately knew exactly who it was. And when the officer pulled up and opened the car door, I was there to meet him and immediately went back into our little role-playing game. I greeted him, told him that I was glad he was there so we could get his information updated, and I told him he should thank the officer for giving him a ride. The man stopped fighting, stopped cussing immediately. He looked at the arresting officer and earnestly thanked him. He was completely compliant, booked in without incident. And the best part was the look on the arresting officer's face. This is only one example of many that I have accumulated over the years. Every time I have taken the time to assess what level my audience was on and adjusted accordingly, I almost always had a win-win situation. And I encourage you to try it. Try pausing long enough to determine what level your audience is on and whether your message is also at that level. I think you'll be surprised by the results. If you found this helpful, please follow or subscribe for more. If you would like more individualized help, please message me to set up coaching, starting with a free half-hour session. May your communications always be blessed.